It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. A student recently pointed out a pretty awesome article by John Micah Reed. This article was published in May, so it's a relatively new article. And it's talking about the top three things you should avoid saying as a product manager or product owner. Now, I love this because I read through the article, I skimmed through it, and I think it's honestly, we've all been in this position, right? We've all been in this place where we say something dumb and we wish we could take it back, right? I know for certain, guilty as charged. I have a closet full of the shirts. Been there, done that. I have a closet full of those shirts. So for me, it's a matter of figuring out how to avoid those pitfalls and how to know what not to say. So let's go through this top three list, and I think that's a good list. The first one says saying yes straight away. I cannot agree more. What I can tell you is there are a lot of times where I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I say, oh my gosh, why did I say that, right? It's one of those things where you go back and you revisit and you're like, oh, what did I just commit to? Or, especially when you have someone in a leadership position, like an executive says, hey, can you make that work? Or can you work on this real quick for me? Or can I squeak this one extra thing in? Or, it's like, wow, as bad as you want to say yes, is yes the right answer? And I think that sometimes you look at it and you're like, but what if I don't say yes, right? Either way, it's just you have to position the idea, and you have to think about it as, is this something that really is a great idea that I should have said yes to, or is this something that I need to have deeper context to understand the problem, or I need to ask the person who's asking me to put this in priority with other things that they've asked me for? Because I think oftentimes we don't take the time to sort through and get everything sorted out as far as, hey, this is what I expect first, second, third, etc. So I think you need to either gain knowledge, acknowledge the idea exists, right? Then dig deeper and gain knowledge into the context of the problem or the solution they're asking you for, and then ask whoever is asking you for to prioritize it with other things they may have asked you for if necessary. If you do that, you'll discover that some of the things they're asking you for that are hot and heavy, urgent, really aren't that urgent and don't necessarily need to be done right now. So don't say yes to anything right away before you get a chance to validate if you're solving an actual problem or making something better. That makes total sense. Second thing to avoid saying is saying no straight away. If you remember what we just previously talked about, you have to focus on what the impact is of you saying no. Hey, I was wondering if you could know, right? It's like, whoa, okay. And I'm not, that was an exaggeration, obviously. But if you're saying no, you could be saying no to more than one thing. Saying no means you're saying yes to something else and vice versa. So I think that sometimes you have to realize that that initial knee-jerk response sometimes is necessary for you to solve a certain type of problem, but it shouldn't be there for everything. I think that we need to take into consideration some of the same things that we were discussing earlier. Asking open-ended questions to resolve the idea, get a much deeper understanding of the field of what we're being asked for. Ask how the effective solution is going to impact things. And then this will not only help you to identify and analyze problems, but it's going to help you build more effective relationships across the organization as well. And, this is going to help you really get things done. Okay. Final one, number 3. The final mistake I still often make, especially when I feel busy or rushed for time, is giving tasks, not context. If you're trying too hard to just get the work done, but you're not giving a context behind it, that not only is annoying, but it's going to cause lots of back and forth conversation for people trying to figure things out, right? And a lot of people call this, apparently this is a known name. I didn't know about it until I read about it. It's called the XY problem, meaning that if a user asks for a solution to problem X, which is actually caused by problem Y, and you don't share why you needed the data, what the problem is you're trying to solve, you've wasted time or gotten the wrong thing. Makes perfect sense, right? So if you get context up front to what you're trying to do, it's going to require less effort from both parties to communicate, and it's going to give you a lot more information. So you get what you need more quickly to resolve issues. You get what you need more quickly to create solutions. It makes the request more open ended and allows each person to ask pertinent questions or even propose potential solutions. And it taps into your creativity and their creativity and just gives you a more universal acceptance. If you're only ever just the task person who's creating the tasks, if you become the taskmaster, then the team's going to be limited by only what you understand and only your imagination. So you need to make sure you're not just always saying yes or just always saying no, but you also need to make sure that you're not just cracking the whip and saying you need tasks done. You need to think about communication being 90% of your job and focus on how you can be a more optimal communicator. All right, well, that's going to do it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Daily Stand Up. If you have an idea for a topic you want us to cover, remember, learnmoreagiledad.com is where you can reach us. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.